All members of the Poon Slayers Anon, say aye.
Aye.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and joining me once again is Cryptic Panther,
Hey, everybody.
Uberyoutuber,
That's me.
and Fatti.
That's him.
Nice. And we will be making a change to the format. I want to announce this first thing. We're making a change to the format of the podcast. So we're going to be completely separating the Game of the Week segment into its own series instead of bundling in with the rest of the podcast like we normally do. This is for a couple of reasons. And first and foremost, efficiency. Second is going to be ease of access, just because we didn't realize it was the best way to present the Game of the Week to you. For number one, having you guys wait for it till the end of the podcast, and also for the video that we put up on YouTube being mostly nothing up until we get to the video segment. Just not an efficient way to do that, and kind of a pain for our buddy Panther to edit every week. So to make it easier on you guys, make it easier on us, we're going to be splitting it. It'll still be uploaded to the same YouTube channel for Beyond the Controller, but it should be easier for everybody to access it and give us more time during the podcast to actually get the news done, which we sometimes struggle with, as we know.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Little bit. And speaking of struggling with the news, this week we've actually got more news than we can realistically cover in one podcast. So we're already out of the gate. We're saying this is not going to happen. So what we'll be doing is something we've never done before. It'll be special. We're going to record actually 2 podcasts this week. We're going to record today, of course, this episode, and then tomorrow we will be meeting and re-recording. Well, not but recording a part 2 and finishing up all the rest of the stuff that we won't be able to get to today. And we will be uploading them both in the same week, so we're not going to be uploading next week's episode early. This is going to be all the news that we can get to back-to-back pretty much. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Stop wasting more time on my long-ass intro. Panther, talk to us about some big news out of Germany.
Well, it's been hotly talked about everywhere, including this podcast and even a previous podcast.
That's right.
Germany lifts ban on swastikas in video games.
Yeah.
That is huge news. For the fact that, a lot of people get upset. And I mean, I kind of side with and against the whole thing. I mean, people freak out. Oh, they take the swastikas out of the game, when they freaked out at the devs and cursed and swore at them and threatened them. And that's in multiple games. I'm not talking just one particular game. I'm talking in Call of Duty. I'm talking in Battlefield 5, and there's been other games that have been online, and they removed the swastikas and only used the Iron Cross because certain countries banned the logo, and Germany being one of the bigger ones. So, in a decision made by the Germany Entertainment Standards Company, an authority that describes itself as being the voluntarily established by the games industry, that's quite a mouthful, symbols that stand under the categorization of being unconstitutional will no longer require censorship in order to be released in the country. So they're making an exception to video games, and I know in documentaries and certain things it's an allowable symbol, but in entertainment it's kind of been for a long time it's not been allowed in Germany, and there's a list of other countries that also ban the symbol as well. But this is huge. Now that this is allowed, I don't know if we're going to see a big change to the upcoming Battlefield 5. I don't think they're going to go and change all the symbols back from Iron Crosses to swastikas. I can't see that happening. But games like Wolfenstein and other games that have the Nazi symbols in it that have been heavily edited or banned from certain countries will now be allowed to be in these countries, and unedited, of course. So, I mean, like I said, it's always been the talk of, condemning history and the bound to repeated stuff. But like I said, it was people attacked the developers and the publishers of video games over, and it's never been their decision solely. It's the basic fact that if they want to sell a game in some countries, they don't have a choice. So I think this is good. It's gonna open up an avenue to for people to submit realistic, informational or factual type video games with this swastika in it. That's not going to cause an uproar in about 6 or 7 different countries, at least in Germany, anyways.
Right, and then the question we have to look forward to now is if other countries still withhold the ban, should they? Because if anybody is going to lift the ban, you wouldn't have expected it to be Germany.
Oh,
You know?
not right off the bat. No, I figured there'd be,
Yeah, yeah.
there'd have to be
You would
some.
think that they would be the last ones.
Exactly. So I mean,
But
like,
if
there's
they've come around on this, then yeah, that's going to be the question moving forward is why should other countries continue to ban this on the
yeah,
video game platform?
yeah. Like I said, I get that they don't want it sensationalized. They don't want it used for an entertainment purpose. But I mean, if it's, if it's, I mean, Wolfenstein kind of falls out of that a little bit because it's, it's a completely fictional world, right? Wolfenstein's completely fictional. It's not based on anything factual at all, other than the fact of Nazis that were a thing. And
Yeah,
I know,
it's
like,
more like an alternate history fiction.
right. So I mean, I can understand maybe them not wanting to really give them full reign and using the symbol and allowing the country at first. I know now they're definitely going to change it, but it's I can see those type of things where it's used solely just for shock value. But like I said, the thing that was so funny in Battlefield 1 is the second that the people get in and started using the emblem creator, the first thing they did was put swastikas and everything, and the Nazis weren't even a thing in World War One. But because that's how fucking bad people are at history, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like, to me, the symbol itself has definitely lost its shock value in the gaming world because people use it now just to troll, and I think that I think that being smart and lifting the ban on it and just kind of ending that whole argument.
Yeah, and the argument that we've always made as well, which most of us have agreed on, to varying degrees, but I think all of us have agreed on it, is that in certain video games where this would be used, it's normally in like a shooter or some type of game that takes place in history or whatever. But there's really gruesome shit happening all over the place, and if you're okay with seeing bodies get butchered and blown up and blood and guts everywhere, if you're okay with seeing that but not some just geometric shapes on a rectangle,
Right.
like I don't know, I never clearly saw the divide to where they were like that's not okay, but you can literally kill hundreds of other people
Right.
like in the span of 20-30 minutes or whatever, however long it is. You can blow them to pieces, you can stab them. Some of the kill animations are like really fucking gruesome, shooting people all over the place. And then some of the story missions on both Call of Duty and Battlefield have both been really gruesome in certain aspects. Like seeing an actual display of that type of like brutal, gruesome act, that to me is shocking that it's not more offensive than the symbol. Like I understand the whole reason for the kickback from the symbol, but I just never saw clearly how like one was totally cool and the other one is just no, we can't do that. There's no way.
Exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's the argument that we've had. And like I said,
Yeah.
I kind of was on both sides of the fence. It's like, I mean, to me, I don't need to see the symbol. It doesn't. Seeing it or doesn't see it doesn't ruin the game for me. And I'm gonna tell you, guarantee if it came to, like, if I well, I don't play Call of Duty, but if I did, if no one had pointed it out right off the bat, I wouldn't, like, watching the trailers and stuff they were showing in some gameplay. I wouldn't even really have noticed it. I did not think that triggered me, but man, the internet went fucking ape shit. And the same thing with
Yeah.
Battlefield 5, the internet went literal ape shit over it, and people were like, "I'm not buying this fucking game because it doesn't have this," and like, holy fuck, like it's like. But and then like the whole people go, well, it breaks the immersion. I'm like, okay, sit in your mom's basement in an air conditioned, in your air conditioned mom's basement playing on a video game console, then that's not immersion breaking versus just because there's one symbol missing from the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Well,
I
like,
can
and
see both. I mean, but having grown up in Germany and having played the original Wolfenstein uh, censored,
yeah,
to me it was never really a big deal. I never yearned to see the actual symbol in any game, but I can. I'm kind of on both sides of it. I don't like, this was a dark time in the history of my country, and I don't like seeing it being glorified in one aspect, but at the same time I do view video games as a form of art, and even in some instances, um, there's some history there, and you can actually portray some history, and it's not like this era didn't happen. It did. And so I'm kind of both ways on that. I
yeah.
don't like seeing it being glorified. I don't like I guess what Baker was saying. I don't, as long as it doesn't cross the line with, um, yeah, I don't know how to put it. I guess glorifying that era, or being able to do stuff that's just not okay. But as far as displaying the symbol, hey, I mean, it's a real thing. It was a thing in our past. I guess I'm okay with it because I do look at video games as a form of art, and I feel like people who make video games should be able to express themselves. Just like in movies, because that's the thing. In movies in Germany, I don't believe, as far as I know, a lot of the movies weren't censored. It's really been video games for the most part.
Well, that's probably for the aspect of participation, though.
True. Good point. Good point.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean,
Well,
one thing that has always bothered me is that the swastika has been banned in video games, but the Iron Cross is, just as well known for that particular time period and group, because that's how they identify them alternatively. Instead of, wearing the patches and you see
Very
the flags, the swastika, they just use the Iron Cross. Like, it's just as well known, so why isn't that banned? That's also never made sense to me. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, it says here that Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards sold out in cinemas across the country. Famously, all obvious indicators of Nazi Germany were removed from the German release. Oh, wait, now how does that article doesn't seem like it's worded right? Because then it goes into talking about Wolfenstein too. From the swastika down to Hitler's mustache, until the narrative represented a fictional dictatorship to be opposed by the protagonist, not a historical one. Wow. So they've changed like even that aspect of the game in Germany.
yeah.
So even removing Hitler's mustache and not even naming him Hitler in the game. Holy shit. I didn't know it went that far. That's crazy. All right. Jesus.
Well, either way, that's big news.
Yeah.
And from an unexpected source as well.
Yeah. Germany of all places.
Yeah, of all places. But, whatever. I've always felt that it needed to happen. Like I said, we're doing so many gruesome things in games nowadays. Like, it's a symbol to me is not worse than what's actually happening on the screen that we're doing.
Exactly.
So I've never been bothered about seeing it. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I understand why people get upset, as we've said time and time and time again. I can get it. However, I don't think it's worse than what's currently being displayed.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's move on. Fatti, you were dead silent throughout that whole thing, so talk it up for us here. Talk to us about Fallout 76.
Yeah, definitely. So being an asshole in Fallout 76 is apparently going to cost you. During QuakeCon earlier this week, new information on how they're going to be handling player versus player combat in Fallout 76 was kind of talked about. As we know, Fallout 76 is going to be a fully online survival RPG hybrid of sorts. It's a little different from normal Fallout titles, but it's basically going to have players sort of roaming the wasteland with friends and battling with real people. What was the question was a lot of people didn't know how this battling was going to go. They feared, griefers and trolls basically just slaughtering anyone that went in simply for the fact that they could. But as Todd Howard talked about at the panel earlier this week, they've got a plan for that. To deal with the griefers and people just trying to kill people, they've implemented a system where to actually initiate a player versus player battle, you have to shoot at someone. And for them to accept that and actually initiate the battle, they have to shoot back. That'll start this whole battle system where you can actually get rewards, XP, stuff like that. But if you shoot at someone and they don't shoot back, that means they're sort of bowing out of the battle. So for players who kill other players that bow out of the battle, they don't want to fight. They're running a system where they're going to be listed to other players in the session as a wanted murderer. And it's essentially going to put a bounty on them. And this bounty is going to come out of that player's own caps, which is the in-game cash. It's also going to remove the player's ability to see other players on the map as you normally do. So you won't know what's coming towards you and when it's going to hit you. It's also going to make it so that you can't get any XP or rewards from the battle, whereas you normally would. If you kill someone in the battle that was initiated correctly, you're gonna get XP, you're gonna get loot, all that fun stuff. You're not gonna get that if you're being a dick. So it's kind of good, you know. If you're killing non-participating players in these battles, if you want to survive afterwards, you got to get good, son. And that's pretty much it. And this answers a lot of questions about how they're handling this, but I think it also is good because I remember previously even Panther brought up how he doesn't think he'll play this game because of griefers. You know, people are just going to come and fucking murk you right away for no reason. But this system now kind of makes it so like maybe they're not going to do that, or you know that lack of incentive is there. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's incredibly creative. I love it because, like you just touched on, Panther said he might not play this. I specifically will not go on GTA Online for this exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would love to take part in heists and maybe find some people or whatever, but trying to play GTA Online is just waiting to get butt rammed by somebody, with leveled up gear or, just anything, whether I'm driving, whether I'm walking around or looking for things. If I'm doing anything, I'm going to be attacked soon, and I know it. And it's just been proven time and time and time again. So I just say, fuck it. I don't even go on GTA Online.
Exactly. Death is around the corner at any time with fucking flying cars and jets, so why bother?
Yes.
So with the GTA thing is at least if you want to play in friends, you can go into like a invite only server, and deal and have to deal with it. But yeah, I get your point. Yeah, GTA Online is just a fucking cesspool. As for this, now that they've added this type of system, where in other words, I'm exploring and some dudes like shoots me, I'm like, I don't want to fight. I'm just scavenging or doing whatever, and ignore them. If dude decides to smoke me, he's just not going to get a chance to do anything. He basically fucks himself. That's it. That's almost enough to make sure that I'd be more interested in getting the game, for the fact that if I'm playing online, you don't have to worry about a guy that's got nothing to do but spend his fucking day playing this game and has basically a nuke to fire at anybody. That I don't have to worry about engaging these people. I can just go and do what I want to do or play with my friends and not have to worry about constantly getting grief. But there's still going to be people that are going to do it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they also released a few other tidbits though that if you do end up dying, you keep all of your stuff, which is nice.
Yes.
And they also said they're going to be having private servers as well. So if you don't want to be in a public server with a bunch of 12-year-old assholes, you don't have to be.
Yeah, the private servers are coming. They're not coming to be available at launch. Last I'd heard.
Oh no, they're not going to be launched, but
that's fine. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I've never really gotten into the Fallout games, but the online aspect and the fact that it's multiplayer definitely intrigues me more. So yeah, I mean, there's a potential for me to pick this up. I'll be getting it day one. I'll be definitely waiting for some reviews and see how the game plays out when it's when people are actually playing it. But it's definitely, for what they're doing, has piqued my interest.
Yeah, Uber, what about you?
Yeah, I like this a lot. I really do. It's there's always a thin line when you make a game where a lot of people can be in the same universe, sort of. And to ensure everybody's going to have a good time, that's definitely a step in the right direction to kind of discourage people who like to ruin other people's experience from doing that. Like you guys were saying, it's probably still going to happen. There's still going to be trolls. Trolls are everywhere. But I think like you were saying, Baker, it's a real creative way of trying to combat that. And I'm all for it. I'm definitely interested in this game. I've never played any Fallout games, but this looks pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, for me, it takes away every incentive except for like just the instinct to be a dick.
Right.
They don't get any loot, they don't get experience, they don't get cash, and they actually will have bounty from their own cash placed on them. So they're going to be hunted down.
That's really cool.
They're going to be hunted down and lose money. It's everything against them for doing this.
Right.
And it kind of makes a cool extra feature too, because so let's say you do have tons of caps. You could go on and be like, okay, I am going to kill someone and see how long I can survive against these bounty hunters. It sort of adds to the game, I guess.
That's true.
See, that was a question. That comment and stuff was brought up on Reddit. I was reading the comments on the article, and someone said they tried in the Division to do things to deter people from griefing in the Dark Zone, because even during the beta that I was in, people were griefing in the fucking Dark Zone. They'd stand near the entry point. You would load into the Dark Zone, and there's that few seconds of loading time, and the second your character was visible, they would just fucking murk you right at the door. you had no chance of running, defending yourself, shooting back. You just and that's what and then they get no XP, no points, no nothing of it. But they just sat there and fucking repeatedly kill people just to fucking be an asshole.
Yeah.
So that's all. But I mean, the fact that you said that if they no longer can see players once they have this bounty on them,
Yeah. That's
then
awesome.
that way, you can still go about your business and just ignore the guy. You don't got to worry about him killing you anyway. It's just because he's a prick. So
Well, they can't see them on the map, so they can
on
still
the map.
see.
Yeah, okay, on the map. Okay.
But they can't look at their map and be like, okay, there's 5 guys coming this way. I'm going to go this way.
I
You know?
can't see them on the map. Okay, yeah. So even still, like that gives you the chance to at least get away from them. Once you break a line of sight, you don't have to worry about them engaging repeatedly with you. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good way to combat it because I don't know if the division's still having problems with it, but I know that just sickened me on the game overall completely. Just the fact that as soon as you were trying to do anything in the PvP world, it was just nothing but trolls. So yeah,
that's another game genre that suffers from this greatly. From my experience, is racing games. Online racing games are just play online. It's just terrible.
Most times,
Most times, yeah, you get trolls that are just ruining everybody else's race. Fatti, you can probably talk about that because you're into.
Oh yeah, F1 cars and drifting servers, fucking stupid.
See, I mean, shit like that. It's just come on.
Jesus.
Yeah, Panther and I did pretty well on Wreckfest with multiplayer servers.
Yeah,
There's not many people that are trying to wreck on purpose, and they
Yeah.
don't go the wrong way usually. And it's
Okay.
pretty contained actually for
Yeah.
a fucking demolition game. Yeah, it was actually pretty civil.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you get the odd where you get, I mean, the same thing with myself, and I know Baker, you ran into people on accident, not on purpose. Is that the proper way to say that? Run into people accidentally, a couple times, but I mean, people weren't like fucking raging in the chat and weren't like trying to kill you the next race. So yeah, I mean, for a game that's designed for beating and banging, people were pretty civil. It was surprising.
Yeah, the only negative interactions that I had was when Panther and I joined into a French server, and I typed in the chat "wee wee baguette" and got banned.
That's not why you got banned. That's not why you got banned.
Wee wee baguette.
Oh man, but yeah, all right. Let's kick it up a notch here. We got to get moving through these topics. Uber, talk to us about your old flame, EA.
My old flame. So actually, some positive news. I think they are finally displaying pack odds in Madden NFL 19 Ultimate Team. Obviously, Madden is usually the first game that's released in this sports game release window. So I would imagine that most of these sports games are going to follow suit. And I've been playing Madden this past week. I've actually, it's funny because I vowed that I wouldn't play it this year because the game mode that I love the most is Madden Ultimate Team, which is the card collecting mode. And I just thought I wasn't going to be able to afford this game mode any longer, even if I were to buy the game.
What a terrible way to think about it. You can't afford the game mode.
Exactly.
Isn't
So awful.
Yeah, but it's it's true. You think about it, the game's $60 or whatever.
I'm not ripping you. I'm ripping how it's built.
Exactly.
Right. And this is the first year I felt like that. Just knowing what I, from the past years, I'd buy the game and I'd spend a ton of money on these packs because that is the game mode that I like playing. I like building my own fantasy team, basically. And I just knew, knowing the pack prices and things like that, I just knew there was no way I'll be able to afford playing this game mode this year. And I'm really not interested in any of the other modes. Now, to my surprise, I did end up buying the Origin Access Premier membership. We've been talking about that. I think you guys are also going to end up buying it for Battlefield coming up.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I bought it for the year, knowing that I'm going to buy it anyways. And I just dabbled with Madden and I thought, okay, let's see what they got. And to my surprise, I was actually rewarded quite handsomely right off the bat, as far as getting a decent team together that I can do stuff with. And I also noticed all these cool like solo challenges where you're not playing up against humans, you're playing just against the CPU to earn different rewards. So that was cool. And going into the store to buy packs, they do now display, they don't display a percentage of, you're going to have a 30% chance of getting this. They actually display exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a card of this tier. You're going to get 4 cards of this particular tier or better. So I really like that. That's definitely a step in the right direction of being a little bit more transparent of what is in these packs if you are going to spend a bunch of money on it. And I'd imagine this is a preemptive sort of move with, you know, with them taking the loot boxes out of games now in certain countries. I would think that EA is probably trying to preemptively trying to be proactive here and display some of these odds and make it seem less of a gamble, because I think that's the big conversation everybody's saying, is it gambling, you know, and should it be outlawed? So this is just, I think, their way of covering their butts before the shit hits the fan too much for them, and it's already there, right? So I don't know. So far, so good. Good on them for doing this in Madden. I'd imagine it would happen in all the other games as well that EA is going to publish this year. But we'll see. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm happy that they're taking any changes, you know, in this direction, because EA and sports games is cancer for these packs and microtransactions. It's just terrible. Yeah. You know, and like I said, as soon as you started talking about this, like it's a disgusting feeling if you're a fan of this game to think that you can't afford to play a game mode, you know, like you shouldn't have to pay anything beyond that gate price. I don't think, you know, for most things. I hate this whole era right now that we're in of microtransactions. But anyways, you know, beyond that, it's that the sports games in particular have been a breeding ground for just an awful amount of negativity about this whole, you know, how they're built, the microtransactions and the packs and the question of gambling and everything like that. So that they're showing the odds now, you know, may deter some people from buying into the system. Because if you know, look at something, you never knew what your odds were going to be before. And now, you know, if they say there's only a 3% chance of getting that top tier card or whatever that you were looking for, that's a shitty chance. You know, and you're probably not going to buy 10 packs on that 3% chance or whatever it is. So, yeah, I think this will probably hurt them a little bit as far as how much money that they're making off of it. And they're absolutely only doing this as a reflexive move based on, you know, the threat of actual legal ramifications. Like we talked about certain countries making moves in that direction, but even some United States senators have been talking about introducing legislation for this. So, yeah, it's hitting home now that they don't have free reign in what they want to do and how they build their games. So I'm happy to see some steps being taken, even if right now this is the most minor that it could be.
One more thing I'd like to add to this, and it actually started this last year, and I got to give them kudos for this. In years past, you would open up a pack of players, and it would just be like, they would just tell you get 10 players out of this pack. Of any variety, right? Now they're listing, okay, you can get 2 players rated 84 or higher, whatever. Now, here's the cool thing that they've added this past year. They actually give you a pack now, and it may display 5 players that are all 84 rated or higher, and you actually get to pick one of those 5 that you would like. So that's kind of cool. It makes it a little bit less random, and you can actually build your team depending on what you need. You know, you may get 5 different players at 5 different positions, and then you can actually pick and choose what you would like. So it's not just a complete blind grab bag. You can actually make a choice now. It's almost like drafting somebody in a way. So I will give them kudos for that, giving players another, you know, way, or I guess more options to choose what they're actually getting as a reward from buying these packs, which are quite frankly ridiculously overpriced. I mean, if you're spending $20 on a pack, you better get something that you're going to end up liking, right? Like that was always the thing with these games to me. You're paying $20 to open a pack, and you don't even know if you're going to end up with anything that you can use.
Wait, $20 to open a pack of cards?
$20 hairs. Oh yeah, God. There have been $100 packs in these games. $100 packs.
That's like $80 in Canadian money.
Wait.
$20
The $20 pack.
Yeah, the $20.
There have been packs where you only get one player out of these packs, and it's $100.
Get fucking real.
Jesus.
What?
I'm serious. I mean, it's insane, right? Considering the game is $60, and now you're paying $100 just for one player.
That's
Jesus
fucking.
fuck.
That's just sickening.
Yeah, and that's been always my main gripe. The pricing of these is just ridiculous.
I
Especially,
mean,
you got kids.
I
you know.
get that, like selling the packs is a way for them to generate money to keep creating content and whatever else they do. But once they make the game, they don't really do much other than just technical updates. They don't release more content, right? They don't release more. They just what do they add? Another football stadium? Like they don't add anything to these games.
They don't add stadium.
So
all they add is players. They add players, individual player cards, which are really just reskinned versions of
exactly. So they're not really adding content. So this money is just going in the fucking bank. It's not like you're paying for DLC, or not like in Fortnite microtransactions. You're paying for maps and whatever else, or whatever else they do in Fortnite, the season things and the the money goes to there. Like they're not actually doing anything than just some reskinned cards and some random updates to fix glitches. But the rest of that revenue is dumped straight into their pockets, and none of it ever goes back to the players. No,
and that's the other thing too. Let's say I spend, like I did $6,000 on a certain game in a matter of a year, and buy all these packs for all this money. Then the next year's game comes out, and you are back to just your base team that everybody else gets. You don't get it. You know what I mean?
Damn.
They've added a rewards program now, but it's minuscule. It's just tiny as far as
they're basically giving nothing back for the money that everyone throws at this game. That is sick.
Exactly. You'll get a couple packs the next year if you buy the game. You'll get a couple packs, but it's nothing. It's really nothing.
Man.
And I mean, there's legit people that spend tens of thousands of dollars on these game modes. And the other thing that really bothers me is that it is it's okay. Unlike Fortnite, where it's purely cosmetic, this is a competitive game mode. You can play this game mode competitively, and if you do not have the players with these high overall skill levels, you are not going to compete. So it is pay to win. It's the pure definition of pay to win.
And that's the same. That's the same with MLB The Show.
That's right.
To a certain degree.
Right. You can't compete with lesser cards, right? So that feeds the beast. Like you're hungry to get these higher overall cards, so you may drop $20 or $100 at a chance at one of these higher overall cards. But let's face it, you're never going to be able to keep up the Joneses with that. I mean, that's what they do. They constantly keep releasing higher overall cards, and you must have this card, you must get this player. You just can't keep up, and then before you know it, the year's over, and you basically reset with the next year's version of Madden or NBA or whatever it is.
That is just so fucking wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That could be another podcast. We've done one.
We've done one. Man, we need to stop talking about this. I'm gonna need a shower. Fuck.
All right, well, let's move on then. So the next topic here is something that's interesting right now because of the announcement, and in the future we'll definitely be talking about this more as it rolls out. But for now, just the little information that we have. So Discord, which we're actually using right now to speak to each other, it's kind of taken over the market for TeamSpeak, or from TeamSpeak, I should say, at least in the circles that we're in. I don't know anybody that still uses TeamSpeak. Everybody's on Discord now. So that's the new thing. They've got, tens of millions of users, and what they've decided to do is try to edge into the Steam market and open a store of their own. Now, this is going to be billed yearly and monthly. Basically, you're going to buy what's called Discord Nitro. And for buying this either monthly or yearly, and it's cheaper if you buy the year, what they're going to do is curate certain games and give discounts as well. So it'll be somewhat like a subscription service. There will be games that are given, they're going to call them golden games. And those will be added into Discord Nitro that users that subscribe can pull. You'll have a ton of different customization options that normal Discord users don't get, a larger file upload limit, um, and like I said, discounts on the store as well. So it's kind of trying to be an all-in-one hub now, because for us, how we've been using Discord is it's our chat program. And they want to be so much more than that. So they're also talking about how they're going to add your game library into Discord so you can launch it directly from there. And it's not going to like reinstall them, through Discord or anything like that. Discord is just going to pull it from whatever program runs it. Like you can just click it on Discord and then it'll boot up whatever, say Steam or Origin, whatever. And then it'll run that game. Basically, Discord is going to be telling it to run. But it'll be, for them, what they're telling us is more convenient having everything in one place. It'll be a universal library tab. So they'll scan your computer for games. You can launch them through the app. All of the video, voice, text chat, everything is still going to be as you know it. But you won't have to go to a separate place to buy new games, to try new games, or load your games. So it's ambitious. And taking on Steam is incredibly ambitious. Steam has got such a place in the heart of so many gamers and all of us, even, now that we're all PC gaming more than ever. Steam is indispensable, really. I've got hundreds of games on there, and the sales are just mad awesome, to where you can pick up dozens of titles, through the summer sale. Excuse me, that beer's coming back up. You can pick up, a ton of games for a cheap price. There's, as we've mentioned out when we started the game of the week, there's thousands of games that are free to play. So for them to compete with Steam is fucking huge.
Yeah, very ambitious. The one leg up I think they have on Steam is a lot of gamers use Discord as their default voice chat, like we are doing right now, right? For podcasts, gaming, even console gaming. A lot of gamers use it as a voice chat platform. And I like Discord. I have not nearly scratched the surface as much as I'd like to, but I like the integration with your social networks, with your even your stream. If you're a content creator and you can attach your Twitch channel or whatnot with it. And I like the fact that it shows status updates of what people in your Discord are playing and things like that. So this is just another step up for them to integrate gaming into the platform and have people spend more time on their platform, right? I think it's really smart on their part.
It is. I just have to wonder, if they're going to be able to compete as far as sales and everything, because they can have a store and that's fine, but if the price isn't right, then I'm not going to care.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
So how are they going to be able to compete? Because the Steam deals that we get are obscene. They really, really are.
Some of them, some of them are incredible. And I mean, not just Steam. I mean, there's so many other platforms to buy games, like between like Fanatical and like there's Humble Bundle, and there's like 3 or 4 other game companies that are constantly having rotating sales, and a lot of them, I mean, like, you buy the game, you install it through Steam. So are they going to have any deals with these other companies to do games that have to be installed via Discord? So they give it with a launcher. Like, I like the idea of integrating and having their launcher launch any game, but are the other companies going to allow that? Like, we don't know.
Well, I don't think they're gonna have a choice.
Well,
it's just you're gonna give the app permission and it'll pull it up. That's it.
Like, I'm figuring, but I mean, are they going to be saying, hey, you have to use the Origin launcher to launch this game? So is Discord going to launch the Origin launcher then launch the game? Like, I'm wondering if there's going to be issues with the other companies that already have their own launchers, same as Bethesda, GOG, Steam, Origin,
Blizzard,
Microsoft, Blizzard. Yeah, so I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, that's cool that they want to integrate them all and have them all in one place. That's smart. It's definitely going to make it a lot easier. But eventually, one of these gaming companies is going to say, "Hey, we don't want that to happen," especially Steam, considering they're a sale competitor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, like you said, the term ambitious has been used quite a bit, and that's all you can say about it for sure. It's ambitious. But where are they getting their money? Where are they getting the bankroll? Because, I mean, Discord's free. So we're going to see a lot more ads on Discord. Like, that's...
Well, for the price point, now, and here's what's also going to sell this or not, So it's $4.99 a month if you want to sign up just for monthly, which is fairly cheap. $5 a month isn't much. If you sign up for a year, you actually get 2 months free. So it'll be $49.99 for the year.
Okay.
So it just depends, as far as what they offer for free games, whether this is going to be worth it. I don't care at all about appearance customization and like emojis or anything like
No,
that
me
that they're
neither.
offering. So
Don't give a
yeah,
shit.
that doesn't bother me whatsoever. I don't care. But if they don't offer games that I feel are of a value, then there's no way that I'm going to subscribe to this. Because just on like the announcement page here, they've got a screenshot of somebody in Discord, Nitro, and where it's saying you can subscribe $49.99 a year, $4.99 a month. And it says Nitro now has games. We're testing games for Nitro. For a limited time, gain access to a growing library of amazing games that we think you and your friends should play. The 3 that it shows is Super Meat Boy, System Shock, and Kingdom New Lands. There's a platformer, there's a brain-teasing adventure that's first person, and a 2D side-scrolling strategy and resource management. I could give a fuck about
Exactly.
any of these 3. I don't care.
Yep.
So I'm not going to pay $5 a month if we get side-scrolling 2D indies.
No.
That's
No
right.
way.
No. But I mean, I'm not going to say that indie titles aren't something to play, because I played some pretty epic fucking indie titles. But yeah, I mean, if that's all they're going to be doing is a lot of these indie or double A titles, as some people like to call them, yeah, I mean, if it's going to be hard pressed to gain, I think, a large subscription base. Considering the other platforms have those games, other platforms have awesome sales and discounts. So I mean, it's going to hinge on what they can offer up for that subscription fee, but then what other sales and pricing can they compete with? So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I mean,
It's all about value.
I just want a good voice chat. That's all I want.
Yeah, well, and we have that though. We're not going to lose that
I
because
hope
this
not.
is going to subscription.
I hope not.
Well, I'm positive that we're not going to. And with them just pulling in money from subscription services, even if it's only a few thousand people, that's more money in their pocket. I don't believe that they're going to close down features or, backstep on the quality of what we have already. I don't think
and riddle
that's
it
the
with
choice.
ads and shit.
No, I
Yeah,
agree.
no.
Okay.
I think they want to keep as many users on the platform as possible too. I think.
Yeah, that's the whole point for them.
So,
Right, to
thank-
entice them to possibly 1 month. You may see some games that you actually like, and like, okay, I'll sign up for this. And that's the cool thing too. You have the option, right? Like, oh, this month I don't like this. I don't like anything. Any of the games that are coming
and what
out.
that reminds me of is Humble Bundle, which
Yeah.
I was going to use as an example. I'm not going to count this service out yet.
No, I'm not either.
Just for the fact that I am a loyal Humble Bundle subscriber. Not only do I subscribe to the monthly Humble Bundle, but I also buy separate bundles, that they release every couple weeks. I will buy some of those for sure. And even aside from the bundle, they have some pretty big discounts on stuff in their store as well. So
Right.
I wouldn't have figured that something like Humble Bundle could work, especially because most of that stuff goes towards like actual charities, That's
Right.
not even just a for-profit
No.
company like this.
It's amazing.
So that they can offer such amazing deals and that you can get over $200 of market value for a $12 bundle. And
Right.
even then, most of those profits are not going to the game companies or this company. It's going to charity. I mean, that's just incredible. I wouldn't think that a system like that would be sustainable, but Humble Bundle's been around for a while and it's certainly not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
So if they can offer that much value for $12, then, with a company like Discord, who's already got tens of millions of users, maybe they do have the in the gaming crowd that they can give us some more substantial things, for our subscription money. So like I said, I'm not counting them out, but as of right now, I would just highlight how big of a hill they've got to climb to cozy up and get comfortable with gamers over Steam.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road for sure.
Yeah. But isn't it a great problem for gamers to have, right?
Yeah.
Like, we are just exploding with content. There's everywhere you look, there's some kind of subscription service or some kind of bundle. Like $12 for $200 worth of games. It's just incredible. That was never a thing 10 years ago. You couldn't get that, right? You got what you paid for, and now it's just like there's so much value to be had. So I'm happy to see other companies coming in and competing, at least trying to compete. I mean, there's going to be some that fall off. Who knows if this is going to be one that sticks around, but man, as a gamer, it's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, so many options. And just one more thing I want to point out about Humble Bundle, like I said, because I am just such a fucking fanboy for this service. So if a regular standard game costs $60, a AAA game that is, that costs $60 out of the gate right there. That buys you 5 months of a Humble monthly subscription service. And if each month it's just about $200 worth of gaming value guaranteed, that's $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And we're talking about at least 8 or 10 games in each month. So we're talking between like 50 and 70 games, equaling out to about $1,000, all for $60 right
it's
there. It's
crazy. If you only like 3 of those games, you've gotten value out of that, right?
Exactly.
I mean, can't beat it.
It's unbelievable.
Right.
But anyways, we're we're highlighting and hyping up the wrong service that we're supposed to be talking about here. Anyways, so like I said, that's all the information that we have on the Discord store right now. Nothing else. I don't think we're going to be hearing anything else soon. This is going to be something in progress. I think there's currently a very, very closed off beta happening for this system just to give people a taste. But right now it's not open to the public as far as I'm aware. And when they start announcing more things, of course, we will be covering it here and talking about it in the future. So we're going to move on here. Panther, one of the biggest games that's going to come out this year, and quite a lofty claim here. Tell us what Take-Two is talking about with Red Dead Redemption 2.
So Red Dead Redemption 2 will redefine gaming, Take-Two says. So Rockstar's
That's a
parent
hell of a
company,
claim.
that is a huge claim. So Rockstar's parent company says it's confident the PS4 and Xbox One game will be yet another creative milestone for the company. So there's an article here on GameSpot, and they said during an earnings call, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, that's his real name, said the game will be yet another creative milestone for Rockstar. Boasting further, Zelnick said Red Dead Redemption 2 aims to redefine our industry and captivate audiences around the world. Like that's some bold claims.
Well, we're talking about like the industry shift that GTA had,
Well,
in
yeah.
GTA Online.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we see a market turn like what GTA was able to do, which seems to be what they're claiming, that it's going to be as big, we just talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
the chance of success versus GTA here, and they're claiming that this is going to change and redefine gaming. I mean, holy shit.
That's
Right.
a bold claim. And it goes on to say, it says Red Dead Redemption 2 is Rockstar's first title developed from the ground up for the current console generation, because GTA 5 was ported, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, it was a PS3 game.
Right. So Take-Two said we couldn't be more excited about the upcoming launch of RDR2, and that's the rest of the world as well, which is poised to be yet another massive entertainment event. Zelnick didn't say anything more about Red Dead Redemption or how Red Dead Redemption 2 will redefine the gaming industry. Intriguingly, Rockstar said the game will have a new and innovative multiplayer mode, but no further details have been announced. And this is while Red Dead Redemption 2 is expected to be a massive success, it is not projected to sell better than GTA 5. We discussed that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I mean it's
GTA 5 is still in the top 10 of sales.
every
so,
fucking week. It's ridiculous.
Every week.
Every
and then
week.
in the summer, it's like in the top 3.
Yeah. So I mean, like
It's
we
insane.
know that they're expecting big things from this, and the fans are expecting big things from this. Like we're sitting back and like, don't fuck this up, right?
Yep.
Right.
So we had seen like the little cinematic, the kind of reveal trailer that we got. It was just kind of some cutscene stuff. It was no gameplay. But this past week, they dropped some gameplay
Yes.
with a 6-minute long trailer showing gameplay. And there was one thing I didn't really like was the voiceover lady. I watched the trailer twice, once myself, and I showed my wife just because, I mean, she thinks some of the games I play are pretty cool. So I was showing her, and she found the voiceover lady annoying as shit. And I'm thinking, I did like it when I first watched it because she was kind of, giving you details about the game. But I'd love to have that whole 6-minute trailer with just the actual gameplay and the in-game audio and not the voiceover. I think it would have been cool. But
it was the generic like tutorial voice, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that anyone that's new to like Red Dead and new to even a Rockstar game, that definitely would give you some pointers of what's kind of happening and kind of build a narrative for you, which is a smart idea. But they should have dropped 2 trailers, one with and one without the voiceover. But man,
Agreed.
that game looked fucking sick. I am like October 26th. Hurry up.
I know it.
Like I pre-ordered the $120 fucking PlayStation version. I'm just my 4K TV is going to be rocking. My 1,000-watt surround sound is going to be turned up. It's going to be a Red Dead party over here when it launches.
I saw so many tweets of people just saying, "Take my money now. Just take it."
Yeah.
But I mean, them saying that it's going to redefine gaming, that means they're they have some tricks up their sleeves as far as the multiplayer, right? Because the story's going to be there, but we've had great story driven games, single player story campaign games. I mean, I don't think I don't even know what kind of single player story mode it would take to redefine gaming.
Yeah, I don't think it's single player. What you're saying,
it's got to be multiplayer, right?
Yes,
like that they got some big things planned there. So the funny thing is, the most thing I'm excited about is like the story mode. Multiplayer to me, that's like, that'll be an added bonus. If that's good, then great. But like the story mode alone, I'm so hyped for. Well, that's all I need. Like, take my money for that.
The game seems so massive. Like, we don't have a map size at all, but man, there's like total different biomes. There's, you get chased out of a town, you set up a new camp, you can go hunting. Fuck, there's fishing in this game. I'm calling it game of the year, man. There's fishing in this motherfucker.
And it's also game of the week.
And it's not in Russia.
Fishing.
And it's not in Russia, so yeah, well, I'm all in. But I mean, that's a single player. We don't that's all single player stuff. We're not going to probably see any multiplayer stuff until, I'm saying, just before launch. And we don't even know if online is going to be available at launch the same way GTA 5 was, because you had 2 weeks between the single player launch and actual online launched.
Right.
So, and hopefully they learn from the lesson, because their online launch of GTA 5 was a fucking flaming train wreck. But I mean, so are they going? We don't even know if we're getting online the same day. We could be the whole 2-week wait. The build up.
Well, and for me, that's fine, because I'm going to be playing single player for a couple weeks before I even try to dip into online.
Yeah, me as well. So I'm kind of hoping they kind of follow with that suit, and that way we're more guaranteed to hopefully have a pretty seamless transition into online whenever it shows up. But yeah, I mean, I'm hyped. Yeah. I'm
Absolutely.
all in.
So yeah, it like we said, it's got to be multiplayer, because when you talk about redefine gaming, I mean, what could they possibly do? It can't be, as Uber stated, just a stellar story mode that we care about or that we empathize with. It can't be single player. So what the hell are they planning on doing with multiplayer that redefines gaming? You boot up your console, you sit down with your controller and you play, and probably with some friends, but to redefine gaming, I don't know, man. They've got to have some stuff that we haven't thought of.
Redefine our industry and captivate audiences around the world.
Yeah.
That's what they aim to do with this game. I mean, the single player is a good way to captivate, right? If the single player story is that awesome, and the basic fact that how open the world is and the available interactions that you can have, that you can play as a complete fucking asshole, or you can play as a nice guy the whole time. So, I'm going to be drinking beer and playing as an asshole. I don't care what anyone else says. But I mean, like, I don't know how that wouldn't redefine. But the captivating part, I mean, the story mode could definitely captivate, because I mean, they definitely they didn't falter in GTA 5 story. I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to playing this game. I want to see more, but I don't want to see more.
Well, I think it's going to be big enough that we're not going to run the risk of ruining it.
No, I don't.
It's
I
not
don't
like
think so. But
not like movie trailers nowadays to where we watch the entire thing in 3 minutes.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know they're not gonna. Well, Rockstar plays things close to the chest, anyways, on a lot of things. So we're gonna see another trailer in a few weeks, I think, with some more information on some of the other activities. So yeah, I'm just dialing me up. I'm ready to go.
You know what's funny too? I'm not a big trailer guy or news release guy. As far as like sports games that I play, I could care less about the trailers they release pre-launch. I just want to play the game and I'll make my own judgments on it. Now when Red Dead or 2K or Rockstar, whatever, when they release a trailer, I'm like, oh, let me check that out. Let me drop everything I'm doing. Let me check that out. It is one of the few titles or franchises or publishers where I actually drop everything I'm doing to watch a trailer, and I'm all about it. So it's I guess that speaks for them, to them, I guess, of the quality of content that they release.
Right.
As far and few in between as it may be, but man, when they do drop something, it's always dynamite.
For sure.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's move on. Fatti, talk to us about Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo's doing a great job at fucking up video game history, is what they're doing. Last week, Nintendo laid the smackdown onto longtime emulator sites, Love Retro and Love ROMs, in the forms of snazzy old lawsuits against them for hosting ROMs of its games and for illicit use of their trademarks. This isn't the first time that Nintendo or any kind of other publisher has gone after a website for hosting ROMs. What really sort of brings this to the forefront is the amount they're suing for. They're saying for damages alone, they're looking for $2 million from each site just for their illicit use of their trademark. And then on top of that, another $150,000 for each Nintendo game hosted on each site.
Wow.
So that's a shit ton of money. And it holds no basis to any kind of damages that it could actually present. Like there's no connection between those numbers and what it actually has done. This announcement, these lawsuits have kind of caused a wave of fear among the ROM community, with sites like Emu Paradise pulling all of its ROMs off its site. And what this is doing, it's effectively destroying a long history of video game preservation. These people have done literal years of work of ripping these ROMs and putting them online to sort of preserve classic games as we move into the digital age. And just like that, it's gone. Now, obviously, Nintendo has the complete legal right to sue them. I mean, it's been illegal to distribute ROMs for decades now, but it hasn't really been enforced up until then. And so that sort of brings the morality of it up to question. Obviously, it is a lot of money to people like us, but when it comes to a company like Nintendo, that's chump change for them. They have lots of money. I know they haven't been doing well the last couple of years, but they have tons of money. So it really doesn't make sense as to why they're going after them now. A few theories that I've seen is they might be trying to remove this sort of free source for their old games to sort of bring the eye back to their own like e-shops they have set up where they're selling, old games for purchase on newer systems such as, the Wii U, the Switch, the 3DS. So I feel like they're probably trying to get rid of that competition that's given them away for free, so they could be like, no, come spend your money on us. Come to Nintendo. We'll give you the best quality ones. So it's put a strain on what was a long running community. And I mean, websites now are just completely backing out of it, destroying years of work.
Yeah, and like you said, they've got the legal authority to actually do this. I understand it from a legal perspective, but like you said, for the avenue, if we're going to talk about it, of preservation, of where can you find these games right now?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go pick these up. It's not like actively pirating, a new game that got released. These games are sometimes 30 years old. And you can't. And most people can't find these consoles anymore. And if you do, it's from some thrift shop or whatever, And Nintendo has released their own retro consoles with, the collections of games and everything, but it doesn't have every game on there. Also, they purposefully limit the supplies. of these consoles. So it's not like it's in every market out there and they're losing money like they claim the legal term is damages. It's not like they have damages because their stuff isn't selling because these ROMs are there. So I mean, I understand it, but the main point of this would be money, right? As Fatti pointed out. And they don't stand to make, a big splash as far as money for this company.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking millions of dollars for Nintendo, that's nothing.
Exactly.
That's a week through, their store sales or whatever. But, I'm sure their CEOs are making bonuses in the tens, if not $100 million. But even so, like that's absolutely going to cripple and shut down and forever get rid of all these websites because a couple $1 million to them is just everything.
Well, I mean, they're hosting these ROMs for almost free, right? They're getting ad revenue, but you can download these for free. I've never been to a ROM website where it actually charges you to download these games.
Right.
Personally, I haven't seen it. So these sites don't have, $2 million to dish out in damages, plus another $150,000 per game. Yeah, that's times that by like hundreds. That's an astronomical amount to ask of any website.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is not every ROM is these games are not all Nintendo. So the other games that are not under Nintendo license are also going to be gone because they're going to be worried that Nintendo is going to purchase them in the background somewhere and they come back in and resue them again. So this is purely a fucking money grab by Nintendo. It's
not even that much money though.
No, but but if they stop all these ROMs, these sites are going to disappear and they're never going to get paid. The reason the money is that high is to force them to shut down and disappear. Nintendo knows they're never going to see a dime of this because they don't know who, even if they think they know who runs these companies, they're just going to be gone. They're going to be disappear. They're going to drop offline. They're going to be never seen again under those names, and they'll never be able to find them. So they don't have their social security numbers tied to their own fucking ROM sites. So they're going to be long gone, and Nintendo's going to get nothing. They don't want anything from these people. They want the money from more.
I got to figure that Fatti nailed it on the head with the actual reason behind this.
Exactly.
And it's to give themselves back the market possibility.
And that's where I was going. That's where I was going with it. Was the fact that now that the ROM sites are gone, to be like, well, the only place to get them is either to buy one of their consoles for $100 with only 30 games, whenever you can buy a Raspberry Pi for 20 and put 3,000 games on it. And it's solely a money grab. And what I fucking find so funny is how the gaming community sucks Nintendo's cock on a fucking daily basis. Like they praise Nintendo like they're the fucking golden child of the BL end all of gaming, and they're not. They've fucking done some pretty fucking shady shit. I mean, you go back and watch my rant videos on Nintendo, man, they fucking do shady shit since the Switch launched. The Switch itself is a fucking ripoff.
Yeah, but Nintendo to gamers, Nintendo is like our grandfather, right? No one wants to think ill of Papa, right? No one wants to think, Grampy's done some shady racist shit in the past, but he's a good guy, church every Sunday, barbecue every afternoon. Grampy's an all right guy. He might have killed a lot of black people, but Grampy.
But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm pre-Nintendo, right? I was Commodore 64. I was Atari 2600, man. And then I was Nintendo. I mean, a large chunk of my childhood was Nintendo because they ruled the gaming industry back then. That's everybody had a Nintendo, right? But I mean, like everyone, like I said, just praises them. Oh, they do this, they do that, and they don't charge for all this, and they don't. Man, they fucking force you to buy micro SD cards because the Switch doesn't have internal memory to store one fucking game on it. You can't copy your fucking save files. You can't do this. You can't do that. Then now if you have to put a hacked ROM on a Switch, goodbye. They fucking blank your account out. Like they basically destroy your Switch with a fucking hack because they don't want you using pirated fucking software on their machine. Like they do some pretty fucked up shit. But people suck their cock like it's to give us some life. So
bottom line,
fuck Nintendo.
Jesus. Bottom line, Nintendo doesn't want to see anybody profit off their product, and that's been a thing for a long time.
Everybody does that.
But
get that.
funny little story. When I was streaming on YouTube a lot, the Nintendo Switch was just coming out, and I thought, oh sweet, I'm gonna stream some Nintendo Switch games, Splatoon or whatever else. So I did a Splatoon stream, only to find out that Nintendo had copyright strike my stream. And if you look on YouTube, any content creator uploading any kind of Nintendo licensed game is actually partnered with Nintendo's own little monetization platform, which Nintendo takes 90% of the cut from that.
I can speak to this. Yeah.
Right?
When me and Corinne used to do Playdate, we did a lot of Nintendo games, Mario, all that shit. Every fucking video got copyrighted instantly. We had to be part of their like Nintendo Partners program, and you literally get pennies on the dollar. It's so fucking sick.
I think it's 90-10, like a 90-10 split. They get 90%. Yeah. And then, by the way, you're still splitting that with YouTube.
Exactly. So you're only getting the cut that you're getting a 3%. Cut of a cut that you're supposed to get.
Get 3%. Right. Take it or leave it.
And the funny thing is,
you're getting the couch enthusiast steak portion of it.
No shit. The crazy thing to me that I never understand, because content creators to me push the game, push the product. It's free advertising, free marketing, in my opinion. So for them to just the hammer down on the poor content creators, we're just trying to make a quality stream. It's just I'll never understand that, but Nintendo's done that forever. So that's just another phase or another way of them just not wanting anyone to profit even just a penny off of any of their products.
Like Fatti said, I mean, they're in the right to do this, but you don't see the other gaming companies going after torrent sites and trying to force them to shut down, considering the amount of fucking video games that are pirated. I mean, like, you don't see them going after, the torrent sites and saying, okay, us 5 developers are going to sue this company until they're completely gone. I mean, yes, they don't want their games pirated. Yes, I don't condone piracy, but I mean, Nintendo just seems to always be like the toddler that doesn't want to share. They always want to be the one that throws the fit, but yet, like I said, people praise them every time you turn around. They just keep praising. But the amount of shit that Nintendo does that basically goes against what they praise them for is just fucking ridiculous.
Oh, so, exactly. I mean, you don't see Sega out there throwing out lawsuits, and they could use the fucking money.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're not doing it. Exactly. So.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, like I said, they're in the legal right of it, but like the fact that they sue these companies for the amount of money they are, that forces them to pull off ROMs that are not even Nintendo branded, so those games are gone now. Not every ROM is a Nintendo game. I'm pretty sure 90% of them probably are, but not every ROM is a Nintendo game. So now these websites can't even put up ROMs that are non-Nintendo because Nintendo sued them to fucking oblivion. That's just dirty. That's just fucking dirty.
They're the guy that made it, that comes back 30 years later to the hometown, and finds the guy that he lent $5 to and tells him he owes him $2 million in interest.
Exactly.
Like, fuck, dude, you've already got everything you could want, and who's gonna buy these games anymore? Even if you put them on your store, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna try to charge $5, $10 for a 30-year-old game. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah. There's a few titles that people get super nostalgic about that they'll pay some money for, but man, the ROM community has got to be such a minuscule sliver of the gaming population. I really, really don't see how this is necessary and how it really benefits them.
That's really right. And guess what? The ROM community is most likely a Nintendo customer, a current Nintendo customer as well.
Likely.
Because most people that do play those ROMs from original NES, Super Nintendos, whatever, they're probably people that have a Nintendo Switch on their shelf as well, and probably are still feeding Nintendo with some funds.
Oh, they probably own the original cartridge of these games. They just want to play it on a computer.
Right. It's just it's bad for gaming. Bottom line, it's bad for gaming, bad for gamers. I hate when companies do that. Yeah. When they take away from what the gaming community should be, right? Like it should all be out there. It should all be in the open. And come on, man.
Fucking
30-year-old
racist
games.
grandpa Nintendo ruining everything.
And then the funny thing is, they don't want to release a virtual console either for the Nintendo Switch, right? They're against that. They don't want to do that. If you're not going to allow these ROMs, then give us a platform where we can play these on your platform, whatever. Give us a $2.99 a month subscription service, and we can get to play every Nintendo game ever made.
That's coming. They're gonna find a way to monetize the shit at everything like everybody else does. But yeah, don't worry. That's coming. That's one of the reasons they're doing this. They're gonna find a way to put a old game market on the Switch so that everybody can buy the old ROMs now off the Switch and play them on there, and no longer use their Raspberry Pis or their emulators on their PCs or whatever else they're using to play them for free. That's the only reason they're doing this. It's a money grab.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
I guess. All right. Well, let's move on here. We are just past the hour mark, but the end is in sight. We've got 2 topics left. If we can hit these very quickly, then we won't be too far over. So, Uber, talk to us about Epic Games.
Yes. So, Epic Games, Fortnite, actually has just released on Android, and Epic Games chose a different path, not the traditional path that most Android games or game developers take, by releasing it through the Google Android Play Store. Fortnite actually decided to release it through their own client, through their own website, which anybody can install having a certain Samsung Galaxy device. But what this does is it allows Epic Games to basically pocket all the money generated through the microtransactions rather than giving Google a 30% cut. So that's pretty interesting to me because they did release on Apple in a traditional way through the App Store. And interestingly enough, from everything I've read, is Apple also takes a 30% cut on anything sold through their store.
Huh.
So the fact that Epic Games decided to go against the grain with Google and release it through their own platform, through their own store, is quite interesting to me. I'm not sure what the decision was, or if Apple struck a deal with Epic Games possibly to make it like an exclusive title for their Apple Store. I'm not sure what happened there, but nonetheless, Epic Games decided 30% is too much of a cut for Google to take for them to release it on their own App Store.
Right. Well, and Apple probably had to do some type of deal making. So the thing that comes first and foremost to my mind is that on whatever the next Apple phone is, the next iPhone, what we're probably going to see is Fortnite already installed.
Right. And, in a way, Epic Games has done this with Android now. Because the new Samsung Galaxy Note that's about to drop this week or next, about a week from now, you're actually going to be able to have an exclusive skin, and it's only going to be available if you have this device.
Oh my God!
So
can this just fucking die already? Oh my God!
Quite possibly the most expensive skin yet, because one of those phones runs about $1,000.
$1,200 for the high end one. That's $1,200 US.
So that's a $1,200 Fortnite skin. And don't you think for a second there aren't YouTubers that are going to be lining up?
There's going to be 12-year-old kids stealing from their mother's purse.
I was about to say, YouTubers, there's going to be 12-year-olds rummaging through their mom's purses, like, gotta find mom's credit card, need that Fortnite skin.
I gotta buy that phone. The other thing, I think there's going to be people lined up outside of like the T-Mobile stores, just looking for the demo unit that they have in the store, trying to log into their Epic account just to be able to unlock the skin. So I think it's going to unlock a shit show of.
So are you going to be one of them?
No. I'm going to be good. Although I do need a new phone. I don't know if I'm going to be going for a $1,200 phone, but it's really interesting. I always had the theory that Epic Games struck a deal with Apple due to the fact that Fortnite didn't release on Android until just now, which is months and months after it released on Apple.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think this was a technical hiccup or anything like that.
Timed
anything
exclusive.
to do with. Yeah, I'm sure it was like a 90-day exclusive with Apple that they struck. but now it's taken a step further that Epic Games is really going against Google by not even letting them have a cut of their sales through the Google Play Store.
Well, I read somewhere that, and this was a couple days ago, maybe it changed now, but it was only Samsung devices you could get Fortnite on. It wasn't even all Android devices. So
That's correct. Yeah, it's only a handful right now, actually.
Yeah.
And they kind of chalked it off to being, you have to have a certain system requirement to play these games. But I've seen some articles. I mean, there's plenty of Android smartphones that are more than capable to handle Fortnite. So once again, it's probably a deal that they struck with Samsung, right?
Yep.
mhm.
Oh, for sure. It's a time exclusive there as well. Because I mean,
Right.
like I said, this just needs to fucking die already. Like, give me a fucking break.
I think it's on the downslope. It's starting. We've peaked, and I think we are on the way down now. I don't know how
We're
long.
absolutely oversaturating right now.
Yeah, and I think it's probably. I mean, Fortnite's gonna last a good few more years. I think it's gonna be around.
Well, we can't
But I
have we
think-
can't have a fucking podcast without a topic on it. So, and
Yeah,
you're
that's
the
very
only
true.
one who plays it, and you don't even play it that much anymore. We can't stop talking about it because it's got
And see, and I think to me that's proof that it is on the downward, turn. It is on its way down because just a couple months ago or even a month ago, that's all I wanted to play. I mean, when I turn on any system, my PC, that's what I would launch. And now I'm starting to. I still enjoy the game, but I'm starting to like, hey, I want to play some Madden. Hey, I want to play this game, or I want to play that. So I am looking at other games now, and I think a lot of people are. But
Well,
if you look on YouTube or Twitch, of course, it's still going to be front and center everywhere. It's going to
Yeah.
take some time.
I think it's probably following the same as like PUBG, although their downfall was a little more of the technical side. But I think people are just kind of Fortnite has become a meme at this point, and people are the hardcore players are getting sick of being ripped on, and the people who hate it are sick of talking about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, some of those people are in this podcast.
Yep. Yep. Both hands are raised. Yep. Yep.
I will say though, it's one of the only games I've ever actually enjoyed watching somebody else play.
God,
And even
no.
if it's just a little clip on Twitter or something, I can appreciate
God,
some
no.
people that are just really. There is a lot of creativity too. I mean, that's the
No,
other
there's
thing.
not.
There's a lot of creativity in
And
Minecraft.
we're not going to get into this. I'm going to swing.
Yeah,
the
good
host
idea.
hammer.
Right.
Let's go.
Fatty,
Let's
you're
go.
right though. There is.
Host hammer's coming down. Damn it. We're not having this argument.
Good.
All
Good.
right. All right.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
Last topic. Let's move on here. So Blizzard, who for me hasn't been in gaming news for a while. It's been kind of quiet on the Blizzard front, and even quieter on the Diablo front. This is one of the biggest games of my childhood, and one of the most memorable and beloved games that I've ever played, the Diablo series, in particular Diablo 2, of course. So Diablo 3 had controversy at launch. It was a bit slow. It had some problems. It's now come around. They've fixed a lot of things about it, improved a lot of things, and they sold over 30 million copies. Rumor has it now that Diablo 3 is going to be ported to the Switch, and Blizzard has actually confirmed that there are multiple Diablo projects in the works. Plural projects. One of them, for multiple reasons and from multiple people who have multiple sources all the way down the line, is that Diablo 3 is going to be ported to the Switch very soon. Beyond that, we're of course expecting a Diablo 4, but I don't know that we're only going to see these two projects, because it just sounds, in the way that they say it. He literally says we have multiple Diablo projects in the works. He didn't say we have a couple, we have two. We have multiple. I'm taking that as three or more. So it's probably going to be three. He says we may have some things to show you later this year. Or she said, excuse me. It's Blizzard community manager Brandy Camel. So Diablo is going to be coming back. It's going to be coming back in a big way and in multiple forms. I, of course, don't give a shit about the Switch conversion. However, Diablo 4 is going to be very welcome. And it's going to be awesome to see what they've learned from coming off of Diablo 2, which for a lot of people was a perfect game, to Diablo 3, which was a mess at start and which has, really had to climb the ladder to get back up. And Blizzard is definitely a company that doesn't give up on their games. They support the shit out of them for a long time. So, not really much in substantial news, other than, like we said just now, the Blizzard community manager, Brandy Campbell, promising multiple Diablo projects. Safe to say that Diablo 4 is going to be coming, and we might see something later this year from that. So, if nothing else, that's some super exciting news. I'm glad Diablo as a franchise didn't die with Diablo 3. I was disappointed in it, but I have not visited it, just to be honest and open. I have not revisited it in a very long time. So, it could be a totally different game by now, and it probably is. But either way, did you guys ever get into the Diablo series, or is it just me?
I definitely did. I'm gonna say it right now though. First and foremost, one of these projects is probably gonna be Blizzard whoring out Diablo as a fucking movie, just like they did with World of Warcraft.
That was garbage.
Yeah, no, I could see that happening. But yeah, Diablo was a near and dear game for my childhood. Diablo 2 was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I played Diablo 3 when they ported it to console, and it was better than the PC port because they updated it, but then they updated the PC port, but it was okay.
Yeah, I just wasn't thrilled at all with it. Yeah, I didn't get the same engrossing, like, oh my god, I got to keep playing, I got to get more loot, I got to, search this dungeon, whatever. I just didn't really get that feeling. It felt like almost like a grind instantly, and I didn't care for it.
No, I feel the same way.
I've never played the Diablo games. I don't know much about them.
It's a dungeon crawler type of adventure game. There's multiple acts to where basically you start off in an area, you have to explore it, and eventually, through leveling up and through grinding, you'll pick up a lot of loot, get better gear, and you'll be leveled up enough and geared enough to face the end boss of that particular chapter. And then you'll go to a different location, is how that worked. And you'd start the process over again, kind of.
Is it like first person, third person?
No, it's almost top down, but it's slightly angled.
Okay.
I mean, there's no better way to, I guess.
Okay, that's what I thought. From I've seen probably some gameplay and stuff like over the years, but never really get into the Diablo series at all. I know there's a huge fan base for it, so I mean, any time especially a beloved game comes in with more content for their fan base, I'm happy for them, as long as it's not Fortnite.
Come on, low blow.
Well, I would say just to respond to the movie idea, I would be down for a Diablo movie. I think that it would be not more accessible than Warcraft. That's obviously more of a friendly version. Diablo is dark, and a lot of really gruesome shit happens. I mean, it has to be. It's about demons from hell. But I think that if done properly, if they don't, gamify this movie, if you understand the term that I'm trying to use, if they don't copy the same story, or if they try to tell some type of tale, on some hero that was mentioned or whatever, then I'm fine with that. But I don't want to see a retread of the exact same game, and I don't want to see it just end up being, another bullshit popcorn fest like Warcraft was, because they went too generic, There was no heart and soul to that.
That is the problem, though. I mean, name me 3 good video game based movies.
I'll give you the first Resident Evil.
Terrible.
I enjoyed that. No. Not a bad movie. It was a bad adaptation in the sense of it wasn't true to Resident Evil, but the movie was good. I liked it.
I thought it was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think it was shit. Silent Hill, I'll give you that right there.
Oh yeah, yep.
The Silent Hill movie was great, I thought.
Oh, Silent Hill was terrible.
Man,
I cannot agree with you. And then, of course, Rampage with The Rock.
Get the fuck out of here!
I never even
San Andreas 2 sucking asshole. God no.
At one point, my girlfriend said like, "Oh, he knows how to fly a helicopter." I'm like, "Yeah, he learned in San Andreas." Of course, he knows.
And for a third, I don't know. Maybe we'll see Metal Gear. I don't know.
Mortal Kombat.
You know what? I love Mortal Kombat.
So did I. I loved Mortal Kombat.
Okay, finally, we agree.
Yeah.
We agree.
Wow,
on
that
one.
took forever.
1 out of 3. Yeah. Shit, tough crowd. But I don't know. I mean, the chance is there. I just, it's very difficult to adapt a game to screen. It's just different. The participation is a huge factor. And when you take that out, and you just have a story, if it's something we've seen before, it'll be boring. If it's something totally different, it won't be true to the material and people will boycott it anyways. It's very fucking tricky.
Yeah.
But
How do you guys think a God of War movie would do?
I think it would do well.
I think that might be actually a pretty good one to adapt, but who knows? I mean, it's all.
And I remember hearing rumors of that years ago. Fuck, when God of War 1 and 2 were coming out,
That's right.
There was talk of, who was it? I think Vin Diesel to be
Jesus.
Kratos.
Jesus.
See,
him or
but that's
Dwayne
already
Johnson.
making it fucking terrible. Going down that fucking rabbit hole of shit C-list movies.
Okay, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're up to B-list.
Yeah.
We're doing a little better.
God, Kevin Hart.
I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, yeah. A-list, fucking gold. Movie of the year.
Movie of the year. No, but I mean, I don't envy the task. I'm absolutely,
Right.
honest in saying that I don't envy it. But I think a really fucking dark, demonic type of movie could work. They've had an incredible amount of success adapting comic books, and that is the entire market right now, is fucking superheroes and superpowers and comic book movies. That's it. Marvel is ruling the world, and they have for the past almost 10 years.
Yep.
So it can be done to turn, an entertainment source into a movie source, some other entertainment form. So if it's been done this well with comic books, I'd have to say that there's still a chance. We just haven't found the proper way to do it for video games.
No, it's everyone, especially they're trying to be comic books are a little easier probably to do because I mean comic books are basically a script, right? But you don't want to take the exact script to the damn video game into a movie because people have already played the video game. They don't want to watch.
Yeah, like I said, it's that catch-22.
It's
You can't make the same thing, and you can't change it too much either.
Yeah, so it takes the right director, writer, and the right cast to really do well, and no one's done that to the highest level yet. It's going to happen eventually.
Right.
But
And
man,
even
who
then,
knows?
you're probably still not going to please everyone.
Oh God, not even close.
No. You guys didn't like the Super Mario movie they made? John Leguizamo?
Never watched it.
I'll tell you what.
I have respect for myself.
Damn.
Not much, but a little bit.
I don't, and it was fucking terrible.
By the way, we also, I guess Spider-Man might be that. We're also
Hey, there
looking
you go.
for a good Superman or a superhero movie turned into a video game. That's going to be an actual really good video game.
The Arkham series.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Got
You're
him.
right. You're right.
Got
Got me.
big time.
Also, the original Ninja Turtles. On the
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Hell yeah, Ninja Turtles are classic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
All right.
shit.
Well, that's going to do it anyways. We're going to go ahead and cut this off here. We got to the 8 topics that we wanted to. We got 2 each. So, yeah, like I said in the introduction here, guys, we are going to be doing a back-to-back recording. So tomorrow we'll be getting the game back together, doing another podcast, and we'll be releasing that later in the week, probably mid to maybe mid-late week, Wednesday or Thursday, as long as Panther's not too overloaded by this. So double special edition for you guys this week. Be on the lookout for episode 2. Also, at some point, like I said, we're going to be transitioning into the weekly video for the game of the week. That's going to be a separate series. So just follow the Twitter account, or if you guys are following the YouTube page, then you'll get notifications there as well. But just keep an eye out on Twitter for our announcements there. And thank you guys so much for listening. From all of us here at Beyond the Controller, we thank you, and we will see you guys next time.